Navigate Credit Union Broadcast Center. I'm here with Nicole Romano.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Our lovely local jewelry designer. She's amazing. Look at all this stuff.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Congratulations. You've
Thank
been really busy lately.
Yes, yes.
So you just released a new line. You just did a collaboration with PVD Donuts. So let's talk a little bit about you, all the work that you do, and all the fun stuff you have going on.
Sounds good.
How about that?
Sounds great.
Cool. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about some of your stuff. So you were mentored by Nicole Miller, who's huge.
Yes.
And just talk about some of your inspiration. Let's talk about some of your new pieces here because this stuff is beautiful. So let's talk about it.
Yes, well, this is part of the Walker collection. So it's inspired by architecture in New York, very old school, kind of the Gothic sort of detail, ornate architecture that, I just see like walking around the city. And so it kind of is reflected in some of the details you see here. And these are like obviously the biggest and boldest statement pieces of the collection.
I love it.
It
It's
really
huge
embodies that.
Gorgeous.
Thank you.
So, and you spend time both in New York and Rhode Island.
Yes, I do. Everything is manufactured here by hand, so I split my time. My showroom is in New York, so I'm kind of like 50-50, which is fun.
Yeah, so what is that like? So you're inspired by kind of the New York living, but also you still have that Rhode Island feel.
Well, I mean, the brand itself is sort of inspired by the history of Rhode Island, the rich manufacturing history and the industry of just the jewelry manufacturing dating back to like the late 1800s, which was always inspiring to me. So that really fueled the kind of aesthetic that my jewelry brings out, and that's kind of that's what the brand is kind of all about. And then each collection can be inspired by anything from architecture in the city to an exotic location or a story or a candy, anything really. I mean, I have a collection inspired by Italian candy.
That's
so
awesome.
It's very colorful and fun, so it can really be anything.
Okay, so let's talk about some of your other pieces here. So these are beautiful necklaces.
Thank you.
This is just amazing.
Thank
this
you.
one is heavy, but we were talking about these earrings, which I would think would be heavy, but they're not at all. They're super light.
They are, yes. That actually happens in a lot of the pieces. They have that very strong appearance, but really they're easy to wear. So, this piece does have a lot of like stonework, so it is heavier, but for example, these are, so you can feel they're very airy and light.
And what is this stuff made out of?
Well, there's a lot of vintage stones in this piece, for example, and then it's 18 karat gold plated, antiqued and hand polished. So there's a lot of different steps that go into each piece, which kind of brings out that signature aesthetic for the brand.
So how did you get into this? How did you get into jewelry designing and creating jewelry?
Well, it was kind of organic. I always knew I was a creative person, just from being young and growing up, but I never knew what I was going to do with it. I ended up going to RISD and graduated with an apparel design degree, and then I just started playing around with jewelry, and it sort of just started getting incorporated into my collections and selling as well as my women's wear, so I just went with it, and now it's my main business.
And your work has been featured a lot of places. I mean, people have picked up your work. I mean, so I was looking at some of the stuff Rihanna's worn your pieces, Blake Lively, Kate Hudson. I mean, those are famous people. What is that like to have to, just like flip through a magazine or see online and you're like, oh my gosh, that's my necklace. Like, that's my bracelet.
It's really funny how it happens because it happens in all different ways. For example, Jessica Simpson just bought a necklace of mine, and I literally was at the hair salon flipping through in Us Weekly, and she was out in LA wearing my necklace, and I knew that where she got it because that was the only place it was available at that moment. I knew I wasn't working with her stylist at the time for that, and so it was really shocking and amazing.
So what do you do? Do celebrities contact you? Do their stylists contact you? How does that work?
I work with a lot of different stylists. Some of them are, some of the actresses I know in New York. So if they're going to an event, I send pieces over. They come to my showroom. It can really happen in all different ways. So, but usually it's my relationship with their design and styling teams.
Do people reach out to you because they like the inspiration that you have, because you have that credibility? I mean, why do people like your stuff?
I think it really like says a lot. So whatever your personality is, there's like a different piece in the collection that really they kind of all have their own personality. And I think especially when celebrities are wearing something, they want something unique. They want something that's really like bam and makes like an impact when you're wearing it. And I think that's what people are drawn to.
And I'm just, as I'm looking at you, I'm listening to you, but I'm looking at your earrings and I'm thinking it's so true. They do make a statement and they are gorgeous.
Thank you.
How do you kind of go about what you're designing? Do you have a sketchbook or, what's kind of your process?
I do. I sketch everything. And sometimes like once I'm sketching something and I'll start making it, the materials sort of take on life of their own and something might change into something else. So it really just, there's not one way I do it. I just kind of go with the flow of what's working and what, creates the outcome that I'm looking for.
So let's talk a little bit about what you're going for, what you're looking for. You just did this collaboration with PVD Donuts, which seemed super fun.
Yes.
How did that go? What did you even do? What were you thinking?
Well, I mean, they're so amazing and they have an amazing following here in Providence because of their creativity in their own world. So I said, it just came to me. I said, wouldn't that be so amazing to have like a jewel-encrusted donut that, you can eat and it's sparkly and cool. And it just happened very natural. I just started showing Lori some of my sketches and it just started taking on its own life. And boom, we have the Nicole Romano donut at Providence Donut.
That's so fun. So how did you got sparkly candy? I mean,
so that I left to them because they're the experts on what can be edible and I did a mock-up of like crystals and gold leaf shreds and all this. I just sketched it all out and I'm like, what do you think of this? And then they just like ran with it. They made crystals out of sugar and
so cool.
There were some pearls and other glitter and edible gold leaf. So it was amazing to see what they created.
And how did it go? It seemed like it was pretty successful.
It was really fun to like see it all go down on that weekend. The donut sold out both days. It was available. I was keeping an eye on social media to see like what people were posting. It was really cool.
That's neat.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you have still a pretty good connect here with Rhode Island, and because you split your time with New York and Rhode Island, do you feel like you still have a pretty good connect here? Because you do a lot of work within the community.
Yes, I do. I feel like that's part of the brand, the roots that I have here and the ties I have to this community. And, that's also goes into a lot of charities I've become involved with and designed for. I started doing something with Save the Bay a few summers ago, which was an oyster bracelet that is selling at Mantunac Oyster Bar. And that was how we launched that whole thing. And now it's been there year-round each summer, and it sells like incredibly. So we launched it with a charity, and now it's just become a staple that they sell along with other sort of souvenir-esque pieces, at that restaurant at Mantunac Oyster Bar, which is so popular in the summer. So it's cool to see what comes from that and to combine design with charity and helping the community and other causes.
Do you foresee any other collaborations, or do you have any ideas, or would you want to collaborate with any other, maybe mixing food, because you've done oysters, you've done donuts.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, do you have anything else you might want to do? I mean, I'm trying to think what else is popular now, like jewelry tacos or something.
Yeah, actually, I did a El Rancho Grande, is one of my favorite Mexican restaurants, period. And Cinco de Mayo last year, I became very close with the owner since I'm like attached to the chair there. And I made a lime slice for them to give out on Cinco de Mayo.
That's awesome. Yeah. I had no idea that.
See, you could do anything with jewelry.
That's so neat.
So,
moving forward, do you see any other collaborations in Rhode Island?
Definitely. I'm working with Hope Hospice to create something for their organization. They have recently changed their logo, and we're creating a really beautiful logo, piece of jewelry that with their logo that's going to be a few different pieces. So that will be launching probably within the year.
Let's see.
Yeah.
And you do a lot of various charity works, and you call it Jewelry for a Cause.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. I think I'm a designer. I'm big on design, and I think to create something that's desirable and unique and can also help a charity or foundation raise money, it brings me great joy.
And how important do you think it is to keep that work going here in Rhode Island versus doing things in New York? Because you very well could do a lot of work in New York and just never look back.
You know, I feel like I do a lot of work here because it's sort of where I was born, where my collection is born. So I have an intimate tie, I think, to our community here. And you know, while I'm happy to do design pieces for charities wherever and support charities wherever, you know, I just see I'm always here. I always kind of have my hand on the pulse here, and I see what's going on. So I think that's why I'm so active with that here.
Why did you decide to do all the manufacturing in Rhode Island?
Well, I grew up around it. Family members, decades going back and generations going back, have worked in the jewelry industry. So I've always dug through my grandmother's jewelry box, and I've always it's always been part of my life, and it's always surrounded me being in Rhode Island and growing up here. So I feel really fortunate that I am here and I've been exposed to that, and I can actually see when I'm in some of these factories from how machines used to be running from pulleys on the ceiling, and it's crazy. Some of the things I feel should be in museums somewhere, and it's what I get to touch and work with, on a daily basis. So.
And do you think other companies should come, or is there an opportunity for other companies to come and work on manufacturing in Rhode Island?
Absolutely. I think the capabilities here are really endless, and I think if they're not aware of it, it'd be to their benefit to explore it.
Let's talk a little bit about other products in your line, because you have not just the ones that are here, but you had a gorgeous pair of earrings, the bridal collection that are, again, entirely handcrafted here in Rhode Island. They use Swarovski. But let's talk a little bit about some of the other ones in this new line that you just put out.
The Walker collection?
Yes.
Yes. So there's, these are the bigger pieces, but there are a lot of different size pieces, but the angles are kind of very sharp, and there's a lot of mixture of materials and stones, so it really gives that sort of gothic chic look to it, and it reflects sort of what influenced me with this collection.
And moving forward on some of the other things that you're doing, do you ever really take a break from designing, or is your brain always just kind of going?
Well, the thing is with design, even if I take a break, my eyes are always open. I'm always constantly being influenced by my surroundings. So even if I'm on vacation in a paradise in a jungle somewhere, and especially if I'm enjoying myself and I'm blissful, I will even be probably prone to be inspired even more so. So no, the wheels are always turning.
It's always
I guess.
Going.
Yeah.
It's kind of like as a journalist, you're always looking for a story. You're like, oh, that could be a story. Oh, that could be a story. You're always just kind of involved.
Right.
And so, I think just the pieces that you have are absolutely gorgeous. Because you were mentored by some really important people. Do you focus on mentoring anybody else? Because you do a lot of work with kids as well, and I've seen pictures of you giving speeches and that kind of thing. Do you think it's important to give back in that sort of way?
Absolutely. That's how I really learned the ropes behind the scenes and things I didn't learn in school. It gives you a hands-on approach, and it really lets you know what certain things are all about that you won't know unless you just dive in and do them. I speak at the Lincoln High School, where I graduated from, and I speak to their fashion class, and I always offer mentoring to whoever's interested in kind of working with me and shadowing, seeing what it's all about, especially to run your own business and wear a lot of hats.
Yeah. Do you think Rhode Island could ever get back to the top of that jewelry manufacturing side of things?
Absolutely. There are people here that have companies that can absolutely fuel it, And I think that just it's the capabilities are here, and it's incredible what we can do.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. I mean, I know the history behind it, but there are more companies coming back, and there's a lot of talent in Rhode Island. Just there's so much creativity and so much talent here that just you have to see it through. So.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much, Nicole, for joining us.
Absolutely.
Your absolutely gorgeous collection that you have. And where can people find you?
Well, in Rhode Island, a lot of these amazing statement pieces are at Christina Richards in Newport.
Okay,
yes.
And then of course they can always find you online as well.
Yep, NicoleRomano.com.
Great. Well, thank you so much for joining us here. So if you have any questions, you can reach out to her online. And if you are curious in finding any of these pieces, check out